Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Roger Chandler. I work at Intel.
Hi, Roger.
My team leads our graphics business efforts at Intel, as well as the partnership programs with game developers. It's an honor to be speaking with you today as part of the virtual GDC showcase.
Wow, how nice of you, Roger. So great to be here today.
Gaming was already on track to become the leading form of entertainment for the 21st century. And now, in the midst of the global challenges we are all dealing with, gaming is offering people a way to reach out, to form relationships, and to build bonds. Whether by hosting a game stream for distant family members, joining a squad of friends to team up in competition, or attending virtual concerts in Fortnite with thousands of others. This year, during the pandemic, the World Health Organization is officially promoting video games as a recommended social activity.
You mean the same World Health Organization that said that gaming was an addiction epidemic last year? Okay.
We heard a lot from Yan Lin, Winston, and Sushant, and Ryan about how important gaming is in their lives and what they look for from their gaming system in terms of responsiveness, graphics, latency, and customizable choices. But as we talked with them, we heard about gaming's dark sides too.
Oh yeah, dark sides of gaming. Things like microtransactions, loot boxes, or employee crunch, or CEOs getting paid too much, or the gambling epidemic, or I don't know. There's quite a lot of things. What were you thinking about?
Across the board and across the globe, players raised concerns about witnessing and experiencing toxicity. It's a complex problem, and one the entire industry has to address. We realize technology isn't the complete answer, but we believe it can help mitigate the problem while deeper solutions are explored. 2 years ago at GDC, we showed a proof of concept we co-developed with our friends at Spirit AI. We combined their AI-powered toxicity detection tech.
AI-powered toxicity detection tech. Sounds like something straight out of Deus Ex.
With Intel hardware-accelerated AI speech detection to show that it's possible to give players a choice to detect and remove toxic speech from their gaming voice chat. Today, we're announcing that this collaboration is being delivered in a product we're calling Bleep, which is now entering beta, and will use the AI acceleration on the latest generation Intel laptops and desktop platforms. Let's take a look.
Hey, Roger. Here is a first look at Bleep, an end-user-facing application that uses AI to detect and redact audio based on your user preferences. The app interfaces our AI models into the Windows audio architecture to integrate the feature transparently into your voice applications. Now, for all of us gamers out there, we can use the intelligence of Bleep to remove toxic speech from our in-game chat. As you can see behind me, users can define the filters and the categories that they would like to remove, putting the user completely in control of the audio that they would like to eliminate. With Bleep, we're enabling a tool to empower gamers to take control of their conversation, one key step to eliminating toxicity in gaming today. We are very excited to bring Bleep and the power of AI and Intel to gamers everywhere. Bleep will be available this year for all of your chatting needs. Thanks, Roger. Back to you.
Thanks, Craig. We are really excited about this solution. While we recognize that solutions like Bleep don't erase the problem, we believe it's a step in the right direction, giving gamers a tool to control their experience. We're excited to be working on Bleep and other efforts to ensure anyone who wants to participate in gaming communities can have a safe, positive, and welcoming experience.
What the fuck? Honestly, I don't even know where to begin with this. It's such an unbelievably flawed and stupid idea that I legitimately can't comprehend that an actual corporation announced it. It's like if there was a top 3 worst ideas in gaming ever, this would somehow dethrone the Xbox One and Reddit. It's just that bad. Oh, let's just get this out the way. I don't want to waste too much time on this stupid shit. Problem number 1. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, the options resemble a graphical settings menu in a game. I mean, seriously, do I want some racism and xenophobia, or a lot of racism and xenophobia? What kind of a question is that? This isn't a restaurant. Hi sir, can I take your order? Oh, hi there. Can I have a bit of, thinking a bit of misogyny today, is that alright? Would you like some name calling with that? No, it's okay. But, can I have a bit of, just a little bit of xenophobia as well? What about some swearing? Sure, why not? Who thought this was a good idea? Problem number 2. Promoting a bizarrely inaccurate stereotype. You know, it's funny, when I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, the gamer stereotype was always some guy who was really skinny and really nerdy and wore glasses and was like really weak and pathetic and antisocial, right? I'm sure everyone remembers that stereotype, right? Meanwhile today, there's a small group of people who are trying to push this new stereotype that gamers are like some sort of psychotic, strange, angry, bizarre people who are just completely off their heads. I mean seriously, who do Intel think gamers are? Knuckles cracked. Shades on. Keyboard ready. It's gamer time. Gamer is playing his favourite game, World of Warcraft, when all of a sudden, a woman appears. What? I hate women.
Hey guys, so glad to be here.
Oi,
Yeah?
get the fuck off my game.
Oh, I'm so offended. I'm going to quit playing games forever now, as I'm depressed.
Yeah, that showed him. Hate wins again. Problem number 3. The irony. I can't help but notice there's an option to censor so-called misogynist speech, but there isn't an option to censor misandrist speech. Now look, I'm not going to be insincere and pretend that there's a large epidemic of ladies harassing blokes on voice chat in games. However, you can't just protect one gender and not the other, as then you're treating one gender differently than the other, which, by its very definition, is sexist. And what the hell is this? White nationalism? I hate to break it to you, Intel, but every race around the world has nationalist movements. So why are white people singled out specifically? To me, both of these translate to Intel believing that only men can be sexist and only white people can be racist, and therefore are sexist and racist in of themselves. Cheers, Intel. I'll remember that the next time I'm thinking of next buying a CPU. Back in the day, Intel was like, it was a quality company. Like, if you had an Intel processor, I would remember it would come with one of those stickers. You ever remember that? And it said like Intel inside or something like that. And you would proudly stick that son of a bitch on your computer because you were proud to have an Intel processor. It was a sign of quality, right? Oh yeah, Intel inside. Nowadays, it's like, oh fuck, Intel inside. I mean, it is ridiculous just how low Intel has sunk as a company. It's really sad, to be honest with you. Imagine going through all this effort to make such an elaborate presentation, only to have it completely and utterly disliked beyond belief. Oh, reminds me, I'd also like to point out that I've caught YouTube red-handed removing dislikes from this video. Check the time here. The dislikes were at 4.2k. A few hours later, they had somehow decreased down to 4.1k. So, unless over the course of a few hours, 100 people suddenly decided, nah, I like this actually, and no one else bothered to dislike it for some reason, which I doubt, then this ratio is actively being manipulated behind the scenes. Which shouldn't be too much of a surprise, as YouTube often bends over backwards for large corrupt corporations. After all, it takes one to know one. And this is why YouTube wants to get rid of the dislike button, by the way. Just saying. Intel, from a business perspective, are doing absolutely fucking terribly lately. Their 11th gen processors are known garbage. What was it? A 12% increase from last generation. Oh wow. Now instead of rendering my video in 10 minutes, I can render it in 9 minutes. Oh, exciting. Intel's chips were so shit that Apple instead decided to go and make their own. And in the first generation of Apple chips, they're already better than pretty much anything that Intel's offering. I mean, it's just pathetic. And look, I'll admit it. I have an Intel chip. It's true, I do. And it's a complete fucking piece of shit. And it takes forever to render anything. I mean, oh my god, the amount of complaints that I have about my Intel is unbelievable. It is slow, it was overpriced. I hate it. I hate it. It's the last time that I ever buy an Intel CPU. Ever. Terrible. I mean, think about it. They lost Apple, they lost the vast majority of the PC gaming crowd, and now they're going to lose customers like me. You know, the customers who are saps who thought, oh, it's Intel, we'll give them a second chance, I'm sure they'll get their shit together. Did they fuck? Problem number 4. It simply wouldn't work. If this software ever became mass used, which it wouldn't, at least voluntarily, people would simply morph their slang to accommodate the AI, meaning this entire construct could backfire and ironically be responsible for creating even more rude words and terms. Problem number 5. It's a Trojan horse. This, ladies and gentlemen, is perhaps the most obvious example ever of a Trojan horse. No, not that kind of Trojan horse. This kind of Trojan horse. After 9/11, the US government created what was known as the Patriot Act, which gave US intelligence services huge powers like never before. Many years later, thanks to Snowden, it was revealed that behind the scenes, the US government was collecting huge amounts of metadata on every American citizen without their consent, which was, to say the least, unconstitutional. This was easily predictable. However, the Patriot Act was extremely difficult to oppose at the time. Just the name alone implied that if you opposed it, well, then you must hate America, as you must be the opposite of a patriot. But the real excuse was even worse, being that the Patriot Act would supposedly help protect Americans from future terror attacks. And if you opposed that, then you yourself must be pro-terror, right? Exact same bullshit tactics. Right now, they'll sell it to you one way. We're eliminating hate, blah 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 blah. But in reality, that's not what this is for. There's a much more sinister scheme in play here. It's about censorship and it's about control. Present a seemingly innocent initial concept, such as an application to help reduce stress for some gamers, but in reality, use it to further the real nefarious purpose, which is to normalise the use of AI censorship in the future. And this time, it won't be client-side. I reckon Microsoft and Sony will be pressured in the future to hard code a technology similar to this in their consoles. Yes, I know they use AMD architecture, so it wouldn't be this, but besides the point, it sets a bad precedent whereby people are soon going to be communicating in Morse code. At least that's what I think. Make absolutely no mistake, these AI algorithms, they're going to bite us on the arse in the future, big time. And for all you people who think, oh, you're being paranoid, this isn't going to lead anywhere, come back to me in 10 years' time, 2031. We'll see who's laughing then. Problem number 6, the privacy aspect. Now, I know that the United States is a backwater, lawless land where corporations can squash the little guy as much as they please and sue them into oblivion. But in the rest of the Western world, and especially in Europe, we take our privacy just a little bit more seriously. At least I like to think. According to Intel, the application handles all censorship on a client-side basis, meaning no information at all is transferred away to a server. I just hope that's true. As otherwise, you better lawyer up, Intel, let me tell you. I don't want to live in a world whereby AI is taking my voice and using it without my permission to enhance its own algorithms. Problem number 7. Who asked for this? The only people I can think of who would ask for this are the typical out-of-touch middle and upper-class Westerners who have never had to suffer any real problems in their lives. You know, I was sat here and I was thinking to myself, you know, the world is such a fucked up place. I mean, in the Middle East, we have people going through wars of unthinkable carnage and horror. In the ex-Soviet states, there's massive economic devastation that has led to high rates of alcoholism and suicide. In the United States, there's entire cities, like Detroit, being in utter ruin due to globalization and broken government promises. In Northern Ireland, there's riots going on left, right and centre. And meanwhile, in my location of origin, the north of England, home to the 5 poorest places in Northern Europe, is filled to the brim with terrible unaffordable housing, a massive drug epidemic, rising crime rates, and so much more misery. You know, you've got all this stuff going on, people living terrible lives, and meanwhile, there's a small group of people out there who he called me rude words on Call of Duty. If you get offended because some stranger who you don't know and who doesn't know you insults you in a video game because they're an imbecile who can't control their anger, if that hurts you, if that really gets you down, if that makes you depressed, you have no idea what struggle is. No idea at all. You know the sort of person I'm talking about. Those rich, middle-class, upper-class cretins who live in their white picket fence gated communities, sipping their Starbucks, browsing their golden iPhone 12 Pro Max on Twitter all day, complaining about, oh, my life's so hard. Oh, how will I do it? Get a fucking grip. Now, don't get me wrong. I can't stand it when people take games too seriously. I mean, I've been there myself, where you're just enjoying yourself on a game and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of cretins who won't stop spamming you in the chat, and you're just like, oh, will you just fuck off, you know? It's not good, it's annoying. People need to learn to calm down, take it easy a little bit. But this is not the solution to that. Imagine being a failing business by almost all accounts. Your products are terrible, your competitors are completely drowning you out, and what do? Do you spend important R&D money on improving your hardware? You know, your actual products? No. Of course not. No, let's do some social justice bullshit that no one asked for. Oh, very smart, Intel, very smart.